And joining us via Zoom is the Head of Public Affairs, West African Examination Council, that's WAEC, Mr. John Kapi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. Quite a busy week for you, and let's just have a quick assessment of the exercise so far, if you can give us that.
Thanks very much, and good morning to your listeners and viewers. Basically, we have been able to organize successfully so far. All our stationery has gotten to all the examination centers. We have also been able to reach every single person who registered for the examination. There have been pockets of disturbances here and there. Otherwise, I think it's been a smooth process so far.
What exactly would you describe as these pockets of disturbances?
Well, there has been an assault case on one of monitors in one of the regions. Besides that, we've had also cases where invigilators were found dictating answers to the candidates in the examination hall.
Wow.
We've also had situations where invigilators had taken snapshots of question papers and were circulating same on social media platforms.
The last time we spoke to you on one of our news bulletins, Newsfeed, you told us that 3 invigilators had been picked up. These invigilators were involved in taking snapshots of exam papers. Has this number increased? What is the latest now?
As of this morning, from my monitoring, we've hit 16 so far.
Wow.
Mostly 13 of them being invigilators, 1 supervisor, 12 invigilators, and 3 persons who were not directly related to the examination.
So these 3 persons, what was their business at these centers?
So 2 of them were, trying to work out the answers and circulate same to the candidates in the hall. 1 who described herself as a fashion designer had in her possession photocopied responses that she was going to circulate at the examination center when she was picked up.
It looks like this time around your monitoring and surveillance is quite top-notch. Kudos for that. But what changed? What strategy are we implementing this year?
Well, we held some stakeholder engagements across the country. We held engagements with regional directors of education, district directors of education. We had also NAT, NAGRAT, we had CHAS, we had the security agencies, some chiefs, and quite a cross-section of our society. We brought to them the situation at hand, especially issues regarding examination malpractices, the people who were involved, and the potential of it destroying our educational system. Now, I guess that most of these people we spoke with bought into the idea that we needed to come up with a collaborative effort to fight this menace. So this time around, a lot more people have been deployed to monitor the examination. We have personnel from the Ghana Education Service. We have the National Intelligence Bureau, the Ghana Police Service assisting, and national security is also out there. There are a few NGOs in education who are also out there monitoring. And so we have a cross-section of people who are assisting us to monitor all the examination centers across the country.
Beautiful. And I'm sure that, well, we are estimating that 600,000 candidates will sit for the BECE. Did you have some areas where some candidates weren't able to participate in the exercise? Because you understand that some in an area like, is it Donko Pompo or something in the Joabeng area, a student or a candidate had to jail the exams to go do galamsey and other things. Were there issues like that? And if yes, if you can tell us some of the issues you've encountered.
Well, as we speak, there hasn't been any formal complaint or report about any candidate being unable to participate in the examination. Apart from cases of illness on the part of some of the candidates. And yesterday, I'm told somewhere in the Western region, a motorbike ran into some candidates who were buying food by the roadside. Otherwise, we've been able to reach everybody. There has not been any formal complaint about anybody being unable to write the exam.
Wow. And you spoke about some invigilators being arrested for examination malpractice and all that. On the student side or the candidate side, are there issues like that in terms of examination malpractice?
Yes, we recorded some malpractice on the part of examination candidates in one of the regions. About a room that had about 31 candidates, 16 of them had in their possession photocopied answers. So their statements have been taken. We've also had a situation where about 5 candidates had mobile phones on them in an examination hall. Their statements have also been taken. A number of other places where, we found prepared notes and all of that, but we are unable to put out these figures because they keep going up by the day.
Yeah.
And so when the exams are over and the assessment is made, we'll be able to put out exact figures of people who, or candidates especially, who were found involved in this kind of thing.
Wow, well, is this interesting because isn't that these students or the candidates were screened before entering the examination hall? How are they? Well, maybe you may not know, but for what you've picked up on the grounds, how are they able to have access to these things in the examination hall if they've already been screened before entering the exams hall?
Well, some of the reports we received before the commencement of the examination was that some monies had exchanged hands. Candidates were asked to pay some monies to receive assistance. The rule actually is that before the candidates go into the examination hall, they are searched thoroughly to ensure that they do not carry anything along. It could be deliberate, it could also be by mistake. And so the invigilators are supposed to search them thoroughly before they go in. Unfortunately, my suspicion is that either there's no search at all, or the invigilators simply gloss over some of these things because there had been some earlier arrangements to have them do these things.
Wow.
Mr. Kapi, who qualifies to be an invigilator for the BECE?
Invigilators are supposed to be teachers. They could be teachers in the basic school, that is a primary school, lower and upper primary, or they could be from the Ghana Education Service or the district offices, or they could be teachers in the senior high schools. As much as possible, try to avoid using teachers who are teaching JHS for very obvious reasons. So the district exams officers are the ones who are made to recruit these invigilators for us.
Very well, and I'm sure that some level of screening and background checks will be done on the invigilators as well.
Certainly, we always ask, we have certain specifications that we ask for. For example, they must be certified teachers, they must be people who are in education, there must be people who should be able to, manage children in such situations. So these are just the basic, things that we require of anybody who would be an invigilator. We don't go beyond as if to say we probably will go to the police and find out whether they have any criminal record or not. No, we don't do that.
Right. And how many invigilators do you deploy this year?
Well, it depends on the population of a particular center. Usually for the standard thing is that for every 30 candidates, we have 1 invigilator, just so that we do not have too many for the person not to be able to manage them. So we have about 2,237 centers across the country. So certainly we have about 21,206 invigilators across the country.
Wow. And even with these invigilators, you stated earlier that some of them have been arrested or picked up.
About 16.
16 of them. Which people did the picking up? Is it the monitoring team made up of who? Policemen or external invigilators, as we call every now and then?
We have some external monitors who are going around. For example, the GS, yesterday, for example, I received a call from the Western region where an officer from the GS headquarters accosted a teacher who was busily dictating answers to the candidates. There were some also who were picked up by our specially trained monitors. Our own staff have picked up a number of them. Now, usually what happens is that at every center, there's supposed to be a police guard, if you want. And so when these people are found with these things, that police officer on the ground assists to get that person, the culprit, to the police station. Again, as an office, we have a collaboration with the police headquarters here in Accra. There's one deputy commissioner of police who is with us on a platform. So as and when there are issues around the country, we quickly get in touch with him. So he's able to reach their regional commanders, the divisional commanders, and so quickly these people are picked up.
What happens then? Statements are taken and then they are made to go?
Well, statements are taken, but then per the WAEC law, these people would have broken the law because anybody who is found in possession of a question paper or answers to the questions other than the candidates has committed a crime. And so the WAEC law is going to be applied. All of these people will be arraigned before court and they'll be charged.
And within the WAEC law, maybe educating the public, what does it say?
Well, the WAEC law says that anybody who has any, who is in possession of a question paper or any examination material in the course of that particular examination has broken the rule. Per the WAEC law, you should be taken to court. You could be sentenced to a period of incarceration, or there will be a fine, and you have to pay a fine for, possessing those items.
Mr. Kabi, let me take you back a little. I know you spoke about persons who were unable to show up to partake in the exam, and of course, those who have had health conditions also. You mentioned a motorbike running into some candidates somewhere. What considerations or what arrangements are made for such persons? Especially, we are hearing somewhere in the Ashanti region, a pregnant candidate had to deliver. If you are aware of this, what has become of this particular candidate?
Right, so we got to know, we received information that one candidate went into labor in the course of the computing exam, I think so. With cases of that nature, what we normally for every center, there's supposed to be a kind of infirmary or a makeshift health facility where candidates can be taken to for first aid. And if there's a need for them to be transported to a bigger health facility, that is done. Now, in the case of the young lady who, put to bed that particular day, she was taken to the hospital. What we do is that if the candidate is able to return to the examination center anytime, they can continue with the examination. But we do not have a situation where we take the question papers to them at the health facility. Now, yesterday in one of the centers here in Accra, a candidate, suddenly collapsed. An ambulance was brought there. He was in the ambulance and he said that he was in the frame of mind to continue. So in the ambulance, he was writing his paper. So that is what we do, because previously we could, send a paper to a candidate in a health facility or wherever they are. But we realized that was a source of, leakage, a source of, examination malpractice. So we stopped doing that a number of years ago.
Very well. Now, you have done this over the years. With the numbers you're recording, and if there's an established trend, are you able to give us an indication whether you are recording an increase in the malpractices as against, say, comparatively last year? Although I know, this is not your final assessment, but if you have a fair idea what the numbers looks like and the trend, if there's an increase.
Well, this year, I think that there has been a decrease in the numbers we've picked up. At least last year, within the first 2 days, we're hitting the 20s and beyond. But then we have done just about 2 days, and the reports we are receiving indicates about 16. Well, I cannot say that these are all the people who are involved. Probably these are areas where our people were able to pick them up. There could be some who would have slipped through.
Very well. This is something that bothers all of us, and so it's good that what you mentioned, the stakeholder engagements and all that. But going forward, do we have a plan that will help us, weed out some of these things to ensure students uphold the integrity of the exam?
Yeah, as a council, we have been looking at other options. Of course, we need to collaborate with other institutions of state in order to make this a success. There have been talk about, having examination pavilions across the country so that candidates can congregate over there, probably install CCTV cameras so that we're able to monitor them from wherever we are. The other thing that has been considered has been to move into computer-based testing, or CBT. We are piloting with one of our small examinations, see how it will go. And if there's internet connectivity and the infrastructure is set, we should be able to move into that era so that we don't have a lot of people being engaged. When a candidate gets into the hall, you sit behind your machine, and when it is time, we simply press a button. The questions are there. You answer them. There could be an answer booklet, or if you have typing skills, you type out your answers, and then the exam is over. But these are things that have budgetary implications. They are long-term projects, and then they are capital intensive. So gradually, I believe that we'll be able to get there. But for now, what we're trying to do is to, start with what we call item randomization, or what is popularly known as a serialization. So where we have, different questions, the same examination, but depending on the district in which you are, the questions are kind of jumbled up a little bit. So we do that with the objective test, and in due course, we'll move also into the written test, just so that this posting of questions on social media would not be beneficial to the people who want to cheat.
Mr. John Kapi, in time past, we know that the exams is written from Monday to Friday. Then we know that by Friday, when we are done, we are rejoicing from Friday to Sunday and the rest. But why the change? Starting on a Wednesday and ending on a Tuesday and a Wednesday again. Why the change?
The change is not on any technical basis. Before the commencement of the exam, there was the Eid al-Adha. And previously, the last one, for example, I think the government granted them 2 extra days for the Muslim festival. So this time around, because we always want to work ahead of time, we always have our timetable months ahead, just so that we are able to tell where logistics should go to. So at the time that this timetable was being finalized, the government had not announced the number of days that would be granted the people, our Muslim brothers and sisters, to celebrate their festival. That was the reason we shifted the thing from Monday 9th to Wednesday 11th, just so that they have enough space to celebrate their festival and then return to take part in the examination.
And we also know that the government owes you some amount. Has it been cleared, or government still owes? Is that the case?
Well, as we speak, the government has paid about a little above 50% of the amount we need for the BECE, and assurances have been made as we speak. I think yesterday or the day before, on Wednesday, the Director of Finance was going. He had been called to pick up some other checks. I've not been able to confirm whether he has received some more funds, but for now, at least we have enough money to conduct the examination. And if all the assurances given are, fulfilled, then we are sure that there will be no hitch. The process will go through as we have, planned, and then results will be released appropriately for the candidates to move on to the next stage of their education.
Very well. Back on to the matter on the issue of the timelines. Some interested groups have raised concern with the constrictness of the time frame within which the exam is set for, the 1 week period. Some are suggesting that it be spread across more than a week, say 2 weeks, do a paper a day to ease up the pressure on the candidates. Is this something you've been considering?
Well, this will have to be a collaboration between us and the Ghana Education Service. BECE is conducted by us for and on behalf of the government of Ghana. So most of the time, they would probably dictate the process, not the questions themselves, but the process, whether we should have it within 1 week or have it within 2 weeks. Yes, there have been arguments, but I am not sure, I've not seen anyway, any formal communication from any quarters justifying the extension of the period for sitting the BECE. So if there's any, written concern and there are cogent reasons for which there should be an extension, why not? The council would consider that. But for now, the way the timetable is structured, you know, for example, there are some of the courses that would call for a lot of brain. I'm not saying that there are some of the things that are easier, but then we do not put, for example, science and mathematics together on one day. We would not put, let's say, social studies and RME on the same day. We do it in such a way that there are flexibilities in the timetable. But then if these suggestions come up, or if these concerns are raised and they are considered, why not? We believe that we would be able to extend the timetable and just to accommodate all the people who may be under so much pressure within this 1 week.
And it appears that we're getting into the May-June period again. Is this to accommodate the exam within a period that will help us revert to the previous academic calendar?
Absolutely, that is what we are trying to do. The government, the Ghana Education Service, is looking to ensuring that we revert to the May-June, just so that we synchronize, especially the WAS, with the member countries. For the past 3-4 years, Ghana has gone solo. The other countries always write theirs between May and June, but ours is written in August and September. The council is not too excited about that. They want Ghana to come back so that we have a synchronized timetable so that all countries write simultaneously. So per this timetable we are applying this time around, all is geared towards us, aligning with the member countries of WAEC.
Mr. Kapi, back on the issue of malpractices, and with the advent of technology, social media and all, are we seeing a more sophisticated approach to cheating by the invigilators, candidates, teachers, heads of schools and all?
Yes, certainly social media has created a bigger problem than we anticipated. Of course, there are good sides to it, but then people are also exploiting the negative side of it. With the advent of mobile phones and, WhatsApp pages, Telegram pages, and so on, it's made it very difficult to curb examination malpractice. At the time I wrote my O-level, for example, mobile phones were not even in this country. So, that has created a big problem for us. If right as we speak, we've asked that all invigilators and supervisors would put their phones aside when they are invigilating or supervising the exam. But the compliance, or the level of compliance, is quite low, and that is why we still have all of these things. We believe that going forward, stakeholders will take a look at it and see if it is possible for us to restrict the use of mobile phones in the course of examinations.
And each paper is written within how many hours? What's the period?
So depending on the size or the demands of that particular paper, the standard time is 1 hour 45 minutes per paper. The longest would be about 2 hours, but so far I've not come across any of the papers that is going to last beyond the 1 hour 45 minutes.
Okay. So maximum 2 hours.
What has been the level of collaboration amongst the various stakeholders? Are we having issues with heads of schools, where the centers are and all that?
Well, for the arrest that we made here in Accra, somewhere around media, I think that there was some link between the supervisor and the proprietor of that particular school. I think that when he took the snapshot, that is where it was sent, at least from what we got from his phone. Then also there have been some other persons. For example, I mentioned earlier that there was an assault case on one of our monitors somewhere in the Ahafo region. These were people who were not directly related to the examination, but who found themselves around the examination hall. So these are the little hitches that we've had. But I must say that the police have been very, very helpful, because some arrests have been made, and all of those people will be charged for assault and, being in an environment where they were not welcome.
On the issue of snapshots and taking pictures of exam papers and all that, does it end with the one who takes the snapshots, or you go after the recipient of the snapshots as well? Because clearly there's a collaboration in there.
Certainly there's some collaboration in there. So what happens is that if, for example, I'm the one who's taking the snapshot, once the phone is picked up from me, we have given our people the opportunity, and of course with the police, the assistance of the police, they're able to go into it and see how far it has gone, who have received it. And when that happens, we're able to zero in on the area where the questions were circulated, and then we do what we call scrutiny of the scripts of the candidates. And if we are able to confirm that indeed the candidates receive some form of assistance, then we go ahead and apply the rules as appropriate.
Very well, very well. So we have about 3 more days to go, and so we're preparing for the final lap. What are your expectations?
Well, our expectation is that every candidate who is writing the examination would receive the material they need to be able to write the examination in a conducive atmosphere. We've received reports of areas where there's inadequate furniture or the furniture is not suitable. We have reported these to the education authorities within those areas and asked that they should make provision so that there will be a comfortable atmosphere for the candidates to be able to write the examination. Besides that, we just want to appeal to all and sundry that this is something for the future of our children and the future of this country, the future of education. And so all the persons who have ulterior motives should desist from all of these things, because at the end of the day, you may succeed today, but the bigger effect will be felt in the coming years and decades.
But with the furniture issue, isn't it the mandate of WAEC to have gone round to check these centers before the examination starts?
I mentioned earlier that the BECE is conducted for and on behalf of the government of Ghana.
Okay.
So the district directors, together with the exams officers, are the ones who look out for suitable examination centers. We've given them specifications.
Okay.
When it comes to the WAS, it's a different situation, because that one is an international examination. So we take full control of that. And in some of the places, we even provide the furniture for the candidates to use for the examination. So once the GES has told us that, yes, we find this place suitable for the exams to be written, we do not have any, qualms about that. But just that when we go around for an inspection, we realize that maybe there are lapses here and there. We draw their attention to the fact that we need better furniture, we need a better environment for the children to write their examinations.
And what paper are they writing today?
Today, I guess they are writing Ghanaian language, and then I think science or so. I've kind of misplaced my time to a little bit. Yeah, I think today Friday. Yes, they have science, and then they write Ghanaian language in the afternoon.
Okay, great.
Well, we know that in the recent past, some parents, if you like, have fallen victim to some scammers who promise them. They make so many promises to them regarding the exam and what they can do for the awards. Have you picked up any reports involving parents in this year's BECE?
Yes, in fact, we chanced upon a number that was promising all of this. So one of our personnel engaged the guy in a conversation, and he promised a whole lot. But following him, we realized that he's one of those people who receive snapshots from the centers when the questions are, open, or when the exams commence. So we are on his tail. We know very well that before the end of the exams, we'll be able to pick him up. Apart from that, we've not had any parents reporting. But once we have had this conversation with this guy, I believe that they may have been able to scam some other parents into paying sums of money to them to get questions ahead of time.
Very well, Mr. Kapi. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for having me. I wish you well.
Grateful.
Thank you.
John Kapi is the head of public affairs for the West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, and he's been speaking to us regarding the ongoing basic education certificate examination. We reported 3 invigilators being picked up, I think on Wednesday. That was day 1 of the exam. Daily Graphic is reporting 10 this morning. And now Mr. Kapi is telling us that 16. We have a problem.
Keeps increasing.
We have a problem. We have a problem.
16 invigilators picked for engaging in examination malpractice. Well, that's the headline. So,
anyways, we'd like to hear from you. So call in and let us know when you wrote your exam. Do you even remember your what do you call it?
The index number.
Your index number.
I've forgotten my. I should have looked at it. This
All right, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts about the BECE, its conduct, its context, your experience, and then the final one. Do you remember your index number? Stay with us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One TV. We'll be right back.